Good evening, everyone. I'll call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, August 25th, 2022, 6 p.m. I'd like to invite Robert Jones come forward, provide us with an invocation, and lead us in our pledge. If everyone would stand, please.
Let us pray. Gracious Father, you promise to open doors of blessing and abundance for your people. We ask that you would work mightily in us today. Come upon us and cause us to have a productive meeting. Lead each one of us so that we can make fruitful contributions at this time. Enable us to think and strategize in ways that will achieve great results. Purify our thoughts and motives so that each one of us will enter this meeting desiring the good of others and the pleasure of your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Mayor Williams,
Here.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Here.
Councilmember Cagle,
Here.
Councilmember Helton,
Here.
Councilmember Witt,
Here.
City Manager Dorsey, City Attorney Litchford.
Here.
Before we get started, I'd like to recognize County Commissioner Tim Boyd. Thank you for attending tonight. You have anything you would like to say or address the council?
Yeah, if I can.
Yes, sir.
On?
I think it's on. Is the red light on?
Yes, it is.
Perfect.
Well, Mayor, thank you for letting me say a few words. I just wanted to say this is the last council meeting for East Ridge I'll be attending. I know Mike's going to do a great job taking my place on the county commission. It's been a real pleasure the last 4 years, much more so than the previous 8 years. This council has moved East Ridge in a very positive direction. Chris Dorsey, you've done an awesome job for East Ridge, and I appreciate it. Get a lot of compliments from people outside the district on how well East Ridge is transforming and moving in the right direction. You know, you drive up Ringo Road, and you see businesses like Pandora that moved off 58 over here. That says a lot. And motorsport and just so many things have been going in a positive direction. The sidewalk construction up on the west end and moving forward real nicely, and I just can't say enough thanks for you guys putting forth a real positive leadership for the city of East Ridge, and I appreciate the citizens of District 8 allowing me to represent them on the county level in the last 12 years. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank the citizens.
Well, I will say that you're welcome at any time to come, whether you're a resident or not, or a county commissioner. So you're welcome here anytime. And thank you for those kind words. We do have a great council. I think we're doing some great moving forward, the city of East Ridge. And thank you for your 12 years of service to not only our district, but to the county. Thank you, sir. So, anyone else?
I always want to say thank you also, Commissioner, for your 12 years of service. And I'll say it's going to be some big shoes to fill. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right. We have a very special presentation, the REC project. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I don't want to take away from the presentation, but it is a great program. We have several of the council members have been there and seen this. It's an after homeschool enrichment program. That's all I'll say, and then if you'd like to come forward, introduce yourself and talk about this amazing project.
I'm Christy Chapman from the Rec Project. My husband and I own the check and the cash building at the other end, and we have just donated this space as a youth rec center for the kids of East Ridge. So I'm a little bit emotional about it. These kids are dealing with some serious issues. I found out before I left that 3 of them were raped in a hotel here in town, and about 10 of them last night saw one of the fathers get stabbed in the head and in the back 15 times. These kids are seeing this on a daily basis. This is their life. And 2 months ago, 30 of them walked in my door, and it has been amazing to experience these kids. I myself grew up here in East Ridge, and my mom used to clean the hotels, and when my daddy left, I helped her clean them. That's what we did in our spare time. And so I'm passionate about helping these guys. And I need some help. I need transportation. It's gonna get cold. They're walking over. I've had 3 of them nearly get hit by cars since they've been coming. They're this high. And the older ones are walking them over every day. When I pull up, I have 15 kids and their bicycles lining my sidewalk, waiting to get in to get meals. So, you know, I come before the city council if you can help me spread the word, if you can help with anything. I'm feeding them 5 meals a week just to make sure they get a meal every day. Now, all of them are back in school, but for first 2 weeks of school, I was banging down parents' doors. Why aren't these kids in school? Why aren't these kids in school? And we've got them all in school now. But their home life is miserable. And I just need some help. I've had a hard time getting the transportation from the schools to drop them off where I am, and they're having to walk a long way just to get to me. But they don't go home. They come straight to me when they get out of school. They're loving, they're kind children, but they've been misguided. And a lot of their parents are parents from the system, or parents that got left out of the system. I'm not even sure where it went wrong there. But I've got programs in place now that are helping the parents to get, a lot of these are homeless, transient people. So I got a lot of them that we're placing in apartments, we're placing in low-income housing, we're placing wherever we can get them to get them in a home. They do have to hold a job for at least 2 weeks before they get any help. So we're trying to approach this in the right way and not just give them everything, but make them work for it. I got my parents coming in and volunteering. I've got my parents bringing snacks. I've got my parents giving what time they can, but they're in situations right now, they need us. They need this center. I'm only open 3.5 hours a day because I'm doing it all by myself. Some days I'm the only person there serving these kids, and it gets wild. My windows get broke. I nearly get beat up sometimes, but they're worth it. And so I just come to the city with just begging for some help for these guys. You got any questions?
I mean, again, I wanted you to come forward. I think that several council members, we attended there, went and saw what this great program that you're helping the kids. And to your point, we wanted to have you come before the council and get the word out for some assistance, volunteering or monetary. So thank you for all that you do, and we'll see if we can do the best we can to get volunteers and help. Yes.
You did say that you are a 501c3.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, and I've been in business for a year, but the majority of the kids, like I said, just came on in the last 2 months. And, you know, I was prepared for a whole different set of kids, honestly, than what I have, and I'm grateful for them. But I've got a doctor on staff, and she's coming in and meeting the medical needs once a month or once a week, however often she has to come in to do that. We're feeding them all the meals. Honestly, we need some psychiatric help. The things that they're going through, I don't have the capacity to help them, honestly. I'm there for a hot meal. I'm there to give them some love, some crafts, some food. But I'm definitely in over my head with the help that they need.
Do you have, I know that I got some of these when we
Yes.
were there. Do you have some of those you can leave in case?
I've got the parent,
Thank you.
handbook that I've got, and of course, all our website information is
Awesome.
on here as well. I appreciate you guys' time. I'm
Thank
so
you so
grateful
much.
that you guys came out and saw the place and saw what we're about, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christy.
All right, so we'll move to the next item of business, the approval for the minutes of August 11th, 2022 council meeting. I assume everyone's had an opportunity to read those minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Chauncey and Councilmember Whitt as a second. Do we have any discussion or corrections? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey?
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Helton?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. All right, we'll move to the next item, communications from citizen. This is an opportunity for a resident or citizen to come before the council with any questions, concerns, or accolades, and each one will have 5 minutes. So we had Mr. Boyd, which we already recognized him. Next on the list is Marlene Hadley. Yes, ma'am. If you'll come forward and give us your name and your address, please, for the record.
Good evening. My name is Marilyn Hadley, and I'm at 6508 Holiday Drive in Lansdale Park. And I just came here, I missed the planning meeting about the property behind me on Ringgold Road, the rezoning of 6205 or something, Ringgold Road, by Textile apparently. I didn't know till tonight that Textile is planning to demolish the building. My house sits right behind that building, so when they demolish the building, the back of my house, my backyard, is going to be basically open to Ringgold Road, and I'm not fenced in back there. The rest of the property is, and I'm guessing that maybe Textile will be fencing it in, but I'm hoping that they will be. And I kind of know some people at Textile because my company, they're one of our vendors. So I didn't know it was Textile, or I would have talked to them before I came tonight. And asked them about that. But also the land is a little bit higher back there, so we've had drainage problems, and a lot of it has been because of the runoff from that building. So that may subside somewhat, but there may also still be some drainage because the land is 4 or 5 feet higher than my yard. So if they, I'm assuming that they'd be okay making sure they address any drainage issues as well. So I'm happy. Textile's a wonderful company. They're great neighbors, and I'm sure they'll continue to be more of an asset to Eastridge. And I will give you guys accolades. I think you guys are doing a good job with Eastridge, and I appreciate your leadership, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank
There will be a public hearing for this, so if you'd like to get up, and so there can be some discussions during the public hearing. Yes.
Okay. That same thing. I'm behind it also.
Okay, and your name?
My name is Karen Schaefer.
Okay, so you're, okay,
On there, yes.
so you want to defer to the public hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because we've got questions.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all that we had that signed in. Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to come forward at this time? Yes. Please come forward and give us your name and address, please, for the record.
My name's Antoinette Burnsid. I live on Castle Avenue, and there's 2 areas. On the top of the hill, it's already been patched up, but it's already creating another hole. And where Castle Avenue and Donaldson meet, when we have a heavy rain like we had a week or 2 ago, more of that washes out to where the road is chipping away more and more.
Okay.
I've got it noted, and we'll look at that tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so
coming.
much. Yes, sir. About to come forward?
I'm William Lee. I live 1075 Winwood Road in Eastridge.
Yes, sir.
I've got 2 issues. the traffic light that we did have at Ringo Road and Black Hawk, we had it there for a long time while they were building the interstate. When the ridge cut got finished, they took our traffic light out. Well, if the interstate's clogged up, they come through East Ridge. If you're trying to get out right there, you don't. You have to take a right into the traffic, go down into the Walgreens parking lot, go around Walgreens, and use their light to get out and go back the other way. So I'm asking for an old jalopy type red light right there. You know, just something old.
So that is a state,
Yes, that is the state route by the state of Tennessee. So any sort of lights that are put in there are either A, done by them, or B, we have to do an engineering study with them to determine if a light can go there. We just can't put one in ourselves. Plus, on that road, they have, what's it called, the Intelligent Transportation System, where the lights are timed in the morning going one direction, and then they're timed going back the other direction to try to deal with it. I'm happy to at least ask the state about it, but I don't know the reason it was taken out to begin with. That was obviously before my time.
Well, it was
But I can sure at least ask.
yeah, we definitely can reach out, but the state of Tennessee will actually dictates
Yes.
where lights are on Ringo Road.
Who can I get in touch with the state?
There's a Landon Castleberry or a Joe Deering. He's over the region here, but I will send him an email as well tomorrow.
I appreciate that.
If you can give us, and you don't have to do it out loud, because this is being televised, but if you will give us your address or a contact, then city manager will be glad to get with you and get that information to you so you know who to contact.
It's 1075 Winwood Road.
Okay.
I live right next door to Eddie Phillips, so it's fairly easy to
sorry.
find. The other issue I've
Yes, sir.
got is on Marion Avenue. Three houses down from Altamaha. Now, Altamaha comes right there by Tennessee Bank. Anyway, when they repaved Marion, that block right there, they blocked off our, well, it's not a repave, I'm sorry. It's when they did there used to be a good ditch right there, and they put tiles in it.
Okay.
There was a crossover just before that tree right there that went over to the other ditch. So all that water coming down it would share in the ditches. Well, they blocked that crossover with a tile, and now my front yard, I mean, it'll stand. Now, I built up the back some to keep it from going in the house. But it'll back up. I mean, it'll be right up close to the house.
Okay.
So Marion Ave, 3 houses from Altamaha. Is it on the,
Yeah, that was my property, mine and my wife's, till my dad passed away, and then we moved up there, and I put my daughter in our old house, 5408 Marion Avenue. Little carport right there in the lattice front.
Okay.
check into that for you?
I do appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And can you guys do something about the real loud music? I mean, the sound systems that the kids got in their cars now.
You talking about a specific location or just in general when you're out and about?
I mean, sometimes you can hear bump, 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 all times of the night. Motorcycles winding out at midnight. I live on a hill right there where anything going on South Seminole Drive. I mean, it echoes back through there. So loud stuff tear you up. And I thank all of you for all this good work you guys are doing.
Thank you very much, sir.
That's
And
all I got.
We'll look into these, the city manager will look into these and get back with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? All right, I don't see anyone else, so we'll move on to communication from council members. I'll start on this side. Councilmember Cagle?
I got two things. One of them concerns about what he was talking about. Thomas Avenue is just about as bad as what he's talking about on Seminole. 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, one little old green car, you can hear it on Ringo Road when he comes off of DuPont up there. And I'm sure y'all can hear it at the town hall during the day. And there's 3 or 4 motorcycles up and down through there late at night. And then my other thing is, Germantown Circle, if you get time, whenever we get the Flailmore out, have them check on Germantown Circle.
Thank you, sir. Vice Mayor Johnson. Councilmember Hilton?
I don't have anything.
Councilmember Witt? All right. One of the things, I'd like to ask Police Chief Allen if he'll come forward. I wanted him to talk about a program that's going on. I think it's already started, but yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's called Booze It or Lose It. We're in partnership with the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. It's for their Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. There is an issue in East Ridge and other areas with impaired driving, and we're determined to do everything we can to get these people off the road. Drunk drivers can obviously hurt, injure, kill other people. When you're out driving impaired, you can lose your license, you can lose your freedom by going to jail, or you can lose your life. And this is something that I've felt strongly about for a long time. So it started August 17th through, make sure I got the right date, September 5th, we'll step up enforcement on that. And so if someone is out drinking and driving, they've got a really good chance of getting pulled over by ERPD and going to jail. Safer.
Thank you, sir.
May I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Stan, are we gonna have sobriety checkpoints during that time too?
No, sir.
Okay.
All right. Several other things I've always seemed to have quite a bit to discuss. I wanted to mention to everyone that Our Lady of Perpetual Help is having a celebration of their 85th anniversary this weekend. So Friday the 26th from 6 to 9, the festivities will kick off with live music. There'll be local food trucks, vendors. There's going to be cornhole competition, and there'll be tours of the school. Like I said, it's from 6 to 8 for that, the school tours, but it's 6 to 9, and their 85th year here in the city of East Ridge. So I wanted to mention that. Also, Friday, the 26th at 7:30 will be our East Ridge Pioneers' first home football game of the season. They'll be playing Stone Memorial, which is in Crossville, and it is a non-district game. So I wanted to mention the first home game of the season. On Saturday, the 27th at Local Coffee, I will be hosting a Meet the Mayor event, which I'll be discussing a lot of things that's happened, that a lot of the great things that are going on, and take questions and answers. I hadn't had a Meet the Mayor in quite some time due to COVID and things like that, but I wanted to get those started back up. Also, I wanted to mention that Jones Memorial is having their 44th annual barbecue on September the 17th from 10 to 4. So that is their annual barbecue they do. All proceeds for that goes toward coats for children in the schools here in East Ridge. So wanted to mention that and remind everyone of that. It's an annual event. Also wanted to mention Saturday, October the 22nd is going to be our fall festival. Very excited that we are going to have, this will be the beginning of hopefully an annual fall festival. The 22nd, starting at 10 o'clock. They'll have food, bounce houses, treats, games, crafts, vendors, and much more. It's going to be at the amphitheater at Camp Jordan. So we're looking forward to that. Going to ask the city manager for an update on the multimodal project. And then a paving update. You'll defer those to your section?
Yes.
Okay. And then I always want to try to get an update on North Mac Smith Road, but I think that is on the agenda to discuss later on. And I believe that is all that I have that I can tell from my notes. So I'll now pass it over to the city manager, Dorsey.
Thank you, sir. I'll start with a multimodal update. They are still progressing, as you can tell, on the south side of Ringo Road, coming towards the Walmart neighborhood market there. There's a lot of sidewalk activity and curb and gutter activity going on, but remember, please, that over half the cost of that project you don't see, and that's the stormwater drainage that's going in underneath where those sidewalks and curbs and gutters are going. So that's a very big, important part of this project, and we're just excited. It's moving along, so that's good. Paving update. As you know, at the last meeting, the council approved the contract for $1 million worth of spot paving on residential streets throughout the city of East Ridge. And those are the residential streets. I want to stress that. I've had a couple people ask about I call it South Mac Smith, right there on the south side of Ringgold, and a couple others. Those are considered primary and secondary streets. They're not residential streets. They're more feeder streets that come from those. A couple of those we do have in the hopper. We're not at the point of having them funded yet through the Transportation Planning Organization, because we know Mac Smith on the Georgia side, they're doing some work on it, or getting ready to start to, and doing a lot more development, which means it's going to impact Mac Smith at Ringgold Road. So we are still working with Georgia and with the state of Tennessee, state of Tennessee for funding to help us with that, to improve that section as well.
And if I may add, there's been some questions about the aprons. I know we're working with TDOT on.
Well, that's next.
Oh, okay. Well, we're talking about paving, so that's
Sorry, well, I
paving.
was talking about the paving, the $1 million. But yes, matter of fact, spoke with TDOT today. Some of you know we have some issues where the aprons flare off of Ringgold Road. That is actually that's part of the state right-of-way. We worked with them last year, and they paved 3 of the aprons on the north side of Ringgold Road at Spring Creek, McBrien, and Belvoir, I believe it was. Well, in mid-September, weather allowing, they're supposed to pave the other 3 aprons on the south side that are deteriorating. That's at Tombras, Northmore, by the food line there, and at McBrien. So weather permitting, that should all hopefully get taken care of in mid-September. So that will be good. The last thing I have, just to talk about for a second, we spent earlier this week interviewing for a replacement police chief for Stan Allen, who keeps saying he's leaving, but he's still here. So you never know. May get more than a month out of him, but we'll see. But we had a good panel that helped me. We had Frank Gibson, who was the chief of the Cleveland Police Department. We had Fred Schultz, the chief of the Athens Police Department. Rex Barton, the MTAS consultant. Me, as well as Michelle Senegalio. And what we did was we went through a whole panel, and Diane, sorry. We went through a whole panel with 4 applicants. We had some questions for them, and then we came back and asked a couple more specific things, scored them, and one applicant, we had 2 internal and 2 external. One applicant rose to the top, and I am pleased to announce that our next police chief will be Clint Usselton. So thank you, Clint. Look forward to working with you, and that's my report.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll move to old business.
So Stan still has another month, though.
Yeah.
So we got some transition
We
work.
still have some
28 days.
torture time left.
Sorry.
All right, so we'll move to old business. Item A, public hearing for ordinance number 1173. So we'll read the ordinance and then we'll open up the public hearing.
This public hearing for ordinance number 1173, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend the zoning regulations and the zoning map of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, so as to rezone the property located at 6205 Ringo Road, tax map number 169L-F-040, from C2 General Commercial District to M2 Light Industrial District.
Thank you, sir. This will be the second final reading when we get to that ordinance, but I'll open up this public hearing. Would the applicant or Mr. Howell come forward and talk about the rezoning in the project? Introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Andrew Payne. I'm with Modus Build. We're the applicant for the project. The tentative plans that we have right now are to tear down the existing gymnasium. And as this project moves forward, the evolution of it, we're still doing the hydrology studies. The proposed rezoning has all of the vegetative buffers, which would be new vegetation that would block the view of your property from the new structure that goes here. All of the water that would come off that building, as all the engineering is evolving, the property will actually come down. So it's not going to be as far above where it is now. The engineering team would be doing a study to make sure that we're not putting any water onto anybody else's property. It would all be addressed on site for all of the drainage.
Thank you, sir. All right, so we'll open up this time that anyone is in favor of or against. You have a time to come forward. If you'll give me your name and your address for the
Karen
record.
Schaefer, 6512 Holiday Drive.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is, you're talking about this buffering. Is it going to, because where I'm at right now, I do have a fenced-in yard, but I have dogs. You're talking about having, from what I was reading, is it going to be having like for parking, or is it going to be another building?
So
Or, I'm looking at it from my dog's anxiety level, is where I'm at.
What's proposed right now is an addition to TPC. And if everything works out as far as the engineering, and the first step was the rezoning. If everything works out for the engineering, it will be separated by fencing from the residential property, but we're required to have a vegetative buffer by code. So those requirements would be met, and it would be fenced.
Okay, is it going to be like a solid fence where they're not seeing into the backyards? I mean, because we're right next door to each other.
It would be chain link, but there's going to be no parking along the back side of this property. It would just be building facade.
Okay, I'll have to figure out something then, because they'll lose it. When the car wash, when the new people had bought the car wash, they went ahead and extended out their privacy fence is what they had done within their property in order to block it, and that's why I'm asking.
I hope this answers some of your concerns. There would be no pedestrian traffic coming out of the building along the north side, which would be what faces you.
Right.
There will be emergency egress doors back there just in case there's something happens. But there should be no pedestrian traffic to any parking.
Okay.
Or to access the building.
Okay.
There's going to be no truck traffic between that buffer and the new building. So there would be no vehicular traffic or pedestrian traffic back there.
Because that's huge.
That's when they.
That, and it's like she's got two of the drains that drain off and they run into her yard, and I've got one that drains off and runs into my yard. Right. And we just get drenched. I don't know what to say.
And I understand. And all of the drainage that's going to come off of this building will be held into on-site storage.
Well, I seen how they had it on, when you first pull into Lansdale Park, how they've got, I think it's like a concrete thing where it runs down and catches it there. And I didn't know if you guys were still going to do something along those lines to connect it, or.
That's what all the engineers are working on to see if this will work practically and efficiently.
Okay.
So.
Those are my concerns and questions. I just need to be able to talk to them.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Thank you, council.
Thank you. All right, see no one else? Yes, sir.
So to reiterate on that buffer, so our landscape ordinance requires a 30-foot buffer on that, so you'll have quite a bit of distance from that. Hamilton County Stormwater, they're required to do all these hydraulic studies as well, so that any impervious material on that site, they're required to capture. So he's correct in that matter, so just add
Awesome.
that.
Thank you very much, sir.
I had a question, Mike, if you don't mind. How high is that fence required to be?
So no fence is required in our landscape ordinance. The only time you even have any fencing is usually around, well, not usually around, always around dumpster screening.
Well, maybe if I may ask you, how high do you plan on the fence being? You said you.
Just
course, that's always a condition that council can put on that fence, you know, where it be opaque or something like, to that matter, so.
I'm sorry, if I can say something on that too, because I have seen on, behind the property where they've already got the printing going and that, they have like I guess a brick wall. It's like concrete block wall, and then they have the fence on top of that. Would that be something that they would consider doing something along those lines?
Are we talking about the car wash, Scenic Suds? I'm sorry.
No, I'm talking about the
Sorry.
textile place.
Okay, for some reason I was drawing a
No,
blank there.
it's
I got
okay.
you.
It's okay. I just figured I would ask while I had a chance as you're touching
Yeah, you
on
mentioned
that
retaining wall,
about the
that's retaining wall,
fence, And I'm
sorry.
like, well, it's because I'm behind them also.
Gotcha.
I'm behind both of them.
As the engineering team continues with their studies, we're still not sure where the height of the building is going to be in relation to the current building. And so if this project is able to move forward, again, we're still looking at that.
Okay.
Tentatively, it would be a 6-foot chain link fence at grade. But the building is going to be set up probably 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah, figured I'd ask while I can. Sorry.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, Marlene Hadley, 6508. I just wondered if you could do the chain link, the fence on the early end of the project, rather than, so that if you're building and figuring out for a year that, and once the building is gone, that it's not going to be a long time before there's some kind of a fence there. So if that's possible, I'm just asking as a request.
Just for security reasons, we like to, our company, we try to have a security perimeter.
Right, yes, no, I
Shorten
know,
out of the
I
construction
recognize,
areas, so
yeah.
that would be something.
I mean, you would do it early on in your process rather than later.
We do that on construction projects, but please keep in mind, it's not a permanent structure fence, so it's not meant to keep animals in or out.
I don't have
They
animals.
still have, okay. Thank you.
Oh, I can just cut through there.
No, absolutely.
Okay, thank you, sir, I appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? See no one else, so I will close this public hearing and we'll actually then move into item B, ordinance 1173.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend the zoning regulations and the zoning map of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, so as to rezone the property located at 6205 Ringo Road, tax map number 169L-F-040 from C2 General Commercial District to M2 Light Industrial District.
This would be the second and final reading. So we just had the public hearing, we've had discussion, so I will entertain a motion for ordinance number 1173.
Motion to approve ordinance number 1173.
Second.
A motion to approve by Councilmember Helton and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt. Yes. Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance 1173 passed second and final reading. We'll now move into new business. First item is resolution number 3301.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city to accept a grant from CSX Railroad in the amount of $25,000 for the East Ridge Fire Rescue Department.
Yes, Council. The fire department applied for and was awarded a grant from CSX, the amount of the $25,000, excuse me. It's a 100% grant. It's going to help purchase computers for the first out responding fire apparatus that we have. This is the first step in trying to enhance the fire department's communications with dispatch through a mobile CAD for the fire department. They're currently using iPads, and like I said, this will upgrade the capability of the fire department with this new CAD system, and we are happy for the donation and hope you will accept.
Awesome. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3301.
Make a motion to approve resolution 3301.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. That is awesome. We'll move to item B, resolution number 3302.
A resolution of the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving photography bids for the 2022-2023 sports season.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. We had bids received on August 9th. We had one qualified bid that we received from Beverly Reed Photography. There was a 15% commission of gross picture sales that's paid to the city during the whole process for the photography, and we would like to recommend awarding the bid to them.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3302.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion approved by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Whitt. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Helton.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution 3302 passed. We'll move to item C, resolution number 3303.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the appointment to the East Ridge Planning Commission.
Thank you, sir. And I believe that is my appointment on the Planning Commission. And I would like to appoint Casey Tuggle to the Planning Commission. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3303.
Motion approved, 3303.
Second.
A motion approved by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Helton.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. We'll move to resolution number 3304.
A resolution of the City Council, City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the appointment to the East Ridge Housing Commission.
Thank you, sir. I believe that one also is my appointment. And I would like to appoint Debbie Lance to the Housing Commission. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Second.
A motion approved by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Helton. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Helton.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. I'd also like to take an opportunity to say thanks to Earl Wilson for his service previously on the Housing Commission. We'll move to item E, resolution number 3305.
A resolution of the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city to accept a donation from Tractor Supply Company of a doghouse and a kennel roof for the East Ridge Police Department.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mayor, Council, as you know, our last canine handler left the department. We've got a new one. We need to get a doghouse and a cover for the fencing. Tractor Supply generously donated that. It's valued at $340.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3305.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 3305.
Second.
A motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Helton. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey. Yes. Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Helton.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank Tractor Supply. Resolution 3305 passed. We'll move to item F, resolution number 3306.
A resolution of the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving a contract with Tyler Technologies for software for the East Ridge City Court.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, we went through the budget process. We had this, this was included in our budget. This is to switch the court system over to a compatible system with the police department. They will both be on Tyler Technologies, dealing with the integration, like I said, compatibility with the police department reporting, things of that nature, and just to upgrade the actual software system in general. The agreement for it calls a amount upfront of $51,349 for the building and the upfront cost for this item, and then annual licensing fees would be $22,154 for 3 years.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 3306.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Do we have any discussion? See none, roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, resolution number 3306 approved. We'll move to item G, resolution number 3307.
A resolution of the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the transfer of East Ridge's Tennessee Department of Conservation allocated American Rescue Plan funds to the Water and Wastewater Treatment Authority in the amount of $2,533,124.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, the state of Tennessee through TDAC developed the Tennessee deployment of American Rescue Plan funding, the water infrastructure plan, in order to allocate a portion of the state funds towards water infrastructure in Tennessee, and this mainly goes towards utilities. Where East Ridge was allocated through TDAC $2,533,124, and that will go along with a match by Hamilton County of $526,625. So the whole total for this grant will be $3,039,749. And just to stress again, these funds can only be spent on utility infrastructure. And since East Ridge no longer has utilities, an agreement can be made with the Wastewater Treatment Authority to utilize these funds within the city limits of East Ridge. So the resolution authorizes the transfer of East Ridge's allocation of the $2,533,124 to WWTA. And again, I just want to say the funds can be spent on wastewater infrastructure rehabilitation within our borders.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3307.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 3307.
Second.
To have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Helton. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, resolution 3307 passed. We'll move to item H, resolution 3308.
A resolution of the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend Resolution 3300 to purchase right-of-way of property located at 1403 Max Smith Road.
Thank you, sir.
Don't want me to, this has come about for a resolution to 3300, which was previously approved. This relates to the north section of the Max Smith Road access out, or the what we call the North Max Smith South Access Road project that's going in connection with the Gateway development. There was a traffic study performed that you all should have in your packet dated August 20, a letter to you dated August 22nd, where the traffic engineering in connection with this project was asked to evaluate the difference in the traffic operations of a 4-lane section of Stadium Way as compared to the 2-lane section. The 2-lane section is one that would fit within the 50-foot right-of-way, but if you did the 4-lane, then per the traffic study, it would demonstrate that that would be needed to handle the intensity of expected vehicle traffic once there's final build-out. And so the idea is, from the traffic engineer, ultimately there will be needed 4 lanes for this project to help service the demand of intensity. The resolution is prepared such that it would authorize the city to acquire property outside of the 50-foot right-of-way and, if necessary, purchase. There's not a purchase price in here. It just authorizes city manager to be able to move forward with the project, and if he deems it in the best interest, the authority to purchase if necessary, but also the ability to negotiate with respect to any area, outside the 50-foot right-of-way.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3308.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Helton. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You know, we have voted on this thing, well, this will be the 3rd time. First time, we unanimously approved it down to the budget tail to build that. Stop there. It was brought up 2 weeks ago because someone done some research on the title and the deeds thing, found out we had a 50-foot right-of-way all the way back down to the gateway entrance. Well, we voted unanimously then to approve the 50-foot building the road through there with the amendment not to purchase any more right-of-way, that we build what was in the right-of-way that we had. So I just want to remind everybody that how we voted on it before. So that's what I've got to say.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else?
Well, I will add that, given that the traffic study just recommended the amendment, I think we should be only responsible for us to adhere to that and recognize the results of the traffic study. So I didn't know there was going to be a traffic study since the last time we voted, and if I did, maybe I would have waited. But again, that's why I'm in favor of it. So that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. I'll too will add that, based on the traffic study, if we stuck with the 50-foot right-of-way, it would then pare down the road, which could potentially cause future backups from this traffic study showing with the increase in volumes. And, me personally, if we had to widen it later, it's going to cost us more than what the potential purchase price or negotiated price on that property would be. And I'm optimistic that we can work with the property owner to see if we can get it, some type of deal with that property. But, it's going to be astronomically more coming back a year or two later and widening that when we determine that it is a backup and an issue, and then we're spending more taxpayer money then than we would if we did it right the first time. Just my opinion. Anyone else?
I agree.
I've got one more thing.
Yes, sir.
In the original, first time we bid on it, there's a $4 million figure on it. $4 million is not going to raise.
$4 million, what, I'm sorry?
The first time we bid on it, there was a $4 million figure. When we voted on it the second time, $4 million wasn't mentioned, okay? So now, by us having to buy this acquisition of this right-of-way, is this $4 million going to jump to $5 million? Or is it because it was already priced in the original estimates?
The amount that was in the budget didn't have to change because the budget was based upon the original schematics of the road.
And the original
that's-
price included purchasing the 50-foot right-of-way, which now we do not have to do.
Correct.
So there's substantial savings there by having the 50-foot right-of-way.
So it still should come in under
Should.
$4 million.
That's the hope. You never know what delays and construction and cost of that going up, but, we would hope so, because I believe we have some additional buffer already built in from that 50-foot right-of-way, like I was saying. Any other questions? See none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
No.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
No.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution number 3308 passed. All right, we'll move to item A, public hearing for resolution 3309. We will go ahead and read the resolution, and then I'll open the public hearing.
Mayor, members of the council, this arises out of an appeal from the Housing Commission. This relates to Resolution 3309, which is a resolution of the City Council for the City of Eastridge, Tennessee, regarding an appeal from the Eastridge Housing Commission related to 1500 Keeble Street, Eastridge, Tennessee. By way of history on this, and we've got Mr. Howell here, this is a matter that came up at the Housing Commission back in the first of this month. The Housing Commission at that time passed a resolution finding that the property was in a condition that was unsafe and unsatisfactory for human habitation and dangerous pursuant to Title 13 of the Eastridge City Code. There was a hearing at that time And I think the applicant, we've got Mr. Buddy Presley, who is representing the property owner here. And he has filed the appeal. They timely appealed. And pursuant to city code, it would be a de novo, meaning it would be a rehearing, a brand new hearing here offered to the respondent, the property owner. The property owner is Mr. Keaton, I think I'm saying that correct, Chetan J. Patel. Mr. Patel, his at least tax records indicate property address of 2005 Cannondale Loop, Chattanooga, Tennessee 37421. And again, this relates to property of 1500 Keeble Street.
Thank you, sir. I'll open up this public hearing. I believe we have the applicant for the appeal, if you'd like to address the council.
Yes, council, I would ask, this originated from a fire that had occurred. I'm his attorney, Buddy Presley. We had a dispute that lengthened with State Farm Insurance Company. He just got his insurance check 3 weeks ago. I'm asking today if we could continue this matter to give him a chance to use the insurance proceeds to remedy the problems with the property. And we'll be glad to meet with the inspector to make sure that the property obviously has to meet city code. But the delay in this was not his delay in inaction. It was the delay in State Farm was arguing about whether they were going to have to pay or not pay. And I guess successfully we were able to convince them they needed to pay the claim, and they have at this point in time. It's just like I said about 3 weeks ago. So I understand, if council would indulge that a little bit. I think the applicant, Mr. Patel, has been trying to work with the city. He hasn't been, refused to work with them. So if we could get a continuous, it might help us all to kind of resolve this matter.
Thank you, sir.
Can I ask how much want to be reimbursed from State Farm to make the repairs? Because this looks quite,
Yeah, I don't know how much the check was directly. I think it was some $40-something thousand.
like $40,000 would.
Once you have made some of the repairs.
They give you half, and then once repairs are made, they give you release.
How long has the property been in this condition?
Well, I don't know. Your Councilmember Helton, I don't know. I know the fire occurred, I don't know, back in May, April, the end of April.
May, you're right.
May, there was a fire in May.
April 8th.
April 8th.
Okay, I apologize. I've kind of got involved after, when the controversy with State Farm erupted.
Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes.
So you got your check 3 weeks ago. I'm sure that's plenty enough time for you to get down here and pull a permit. Have you done that yet?
I don't know nothing about it yet. I've left messages to Charlie and Tori, and I haven't heard back.
Charlie's no longer employed with the city. As far as my knowledge is, Tori hasn't received any messages.
Yeah. It doesn't take 3 weeks to pull a permit, does it?
No, I mean, he couldn't pull a permit because it's still condemned under the housing board.
Okay.
That would have to be lifted before any permits could be issued to it.
Well, I guess what would be the first steps that he would take, since he got his settlement check from his insurance company?
The condemnation process had started prior to the 3 weeks. It's been going on for a little while with the Housing Commission, and we filed the appeal as soon as the decision was made. And I agree with the inspector that he would not be allowed to pull a permit until this body or the Housing Commission does something, and we're just trying to get to that point. My only recourse, if the decision tonight's made to uphold the Housing Commission, I'll be forced to, it's not a threat. Mark can tell you, I'll be forced to file something in Chancery Court, and it's gonna drag on. I'm just trying to get a resolution for the city that is more acceptable than us fighting and especially even fighting with State Farm, and give him an opportunity. If he fails in his opportunity to do what he's supposed to do, then I can understand that this body would take action. But I don't think he's had that opportunity yet, and as the inspector said, he would not be allowed to pull a permit. And I told him, I filed the appeal, and when I filed the appeal, I said, we gotta follow the process. We can't just obviate from where we're at, so.
I was wanting to talk to the inspector to see what the next step was, but I don't know how to go forward with that. All I have been doing is leaving messages.
So let me, if you don't mind, hold just a moment. This is a public hearing, so let me see if there's anyone that would like to come forward for this open public hearing. Anyone in the audience like to come forward and discuss or address? I see no one. So I'll close the public hearing, then I'll move into the resolution, and we can ask additional questions from council. All right, so let's move into the actual resolution, and then we'll have an opportunity for the council to address. Yes, sir. Resolution 3309.
This is a resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, regarding an appeal from the East Ridge Housing Commission related to 1500 Keeble Street, East Ridge, Tennessee. I think Mr. Buddy Presley's here on behalf of the property owner.
Yes. All right.
My question was to Mr. Howell. When was the house originally condemned? I know it was condemned prior to the fire.
It was not. So we originally went out there on a call of a person living in a crawl space, which is in your pictures you guys have. At that time, the tenants, normally when we come out, tenants will start, coming out of their units and say, hey, and we start talking to them, and they allowed us to go inside and, look at the conditions. At that time, codes enforcement staff went in, looked at it, found numerous violations at that time, came back to the office, wrote up our notice to repair or demolish, right? And delivered that one, I do believe it was. A few days later, we have the place catching on fire. We're dispatched out there with fire department. Because of the fact the units themselves, it was originally a dentist office, I think it was. Over a number of years, this thing has been converted into a residential apartment. At that time when the fire started, we could not isolate where the electrical was in the south unit. At that time, fire chief decided we needed to pull all the meters on the structure because we couldn't isolate it. Because all the remodeling that's done over the years, each dwelling unit doesn't have its own separate service panel, which is, of course, against code. Because if your breaker flips in another unit, you got to go knock on somebody's door and say, hey, can I restore power to my unit? So after that point, it was condemned and sent to the housing board.
Any other questions? Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Howell, I'm still back to my original question. What is it that we are expecting him to do at this point to lift the condemnation? What is it that he can do? What is the Housing Commission expecting him to do to have the condemnation lifted and
Well,
bring the property up to code?
As of now, it's out of the Housing Commission. They've ordered a demolition for it. So we're here tonight trying to figure out how to proceed further with that. If this body wants to, move further on that, or Mark maybe can.
The options of this bodies would be to reaffirm the decision, to modify the decision, or to overturn the decision. So I guess the question is, what can be done with respect to the property, if anything, to bring the property into compliance?
Well, being that it's zone C2, it's considered a legal non-conforming structure as it sits because it's not correctly zoned to its district. It's being used as an apartment complex in a C2 district, which is not a permitted use. For that type of use, you'd have to have an R3 apartment district for that to be classified to use that. You would have to go inside these units, remove some doorways, walls, whatever they put up in the past, where you will have actual service to these units where, you can shut your electrical off in these units. It's so split up now that, if anybody was ever to be trapped inside that house, on the south unit, there was one door that I believe is 24 inches wide. Very difficult to escape during a fire. And that was the exact unit that was caught on fire. So in this case, you would have to go through this home, remodify it, because it was originally used as a dentist office with a dwelling for the operations of that at the time. So like I said, to go back, remove walls, isolate these panels so you know exactly where they're serving, and then various other code requirements, because there is plumbing in there, there is mechanical in there, that we got people living in a garage out back that was converted. It's a mess.
Well, and I would say this, I've been involved since the fire, and I don't want to misspeak. If I'm wrong, you correct me, please. But I think that it was condemned, and I don't think there's been an opportunity, I know at least I haven't had the opportunity, or him to actually have a findings of, fix this, and this, and this. I do understand that there's an issue.
That was sent to Mr. Patel.
And now that we've had multiple hearings at the housing.
Yeah, I would say, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing washing machines in the back. I'm seeing code violations all over the place. And, I'm hearing why the premise to delay this is because of receiving a check from State Farm. Well, what's occurred prior to that? Before the fire, it looks like nothing has been done to clean this up. And I'm sure it's been in front of the Housing Commission multiple times. And
I don't know of it being in front of the Housing Commission multiple times, but I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying I haven't been involved in that process.
okay.
I've only been involved in this process here that started back right around the time of the fire.
Is that the information you gave?
Yes.
All the dates of the Housing Commission?
I have all the dates here.
Okay.
If needed.
And did anyone attend those housing?
Mayor, some of those I was not present at. We didn't get satisfied service on a lot of this stuff. I think Mr. Patel was absent during the June, July, and August meetings, I think it was.
That's my recollection, yes. He appeared for one, but was absent at the others.
So we know of 3. So there was an awareness of one that attended and awareness of 3 that he should have appeared in front of. Correct?
Correct.
Mike, when were these pictures taken? These pictures?
Those were taken on the day of the violations. That should have been April the 4th. And there might be some in there that are labeled August the 22nd to give you guys an update on what the property still looks like.
There's still currently all this debris outside, the washing machine, garbage bags,
That's correct. The packet that I gave you initially first has some updated pictures as of today.
And I don't really, most of this stuff is, obviously, it doesn't take an insurance check to at least clean up some of this exterior. Just a little motivation, if you wanted to get out here and just kind of, we got city services. He could probably sit a lot of this stuff out at the road and it would have been picked up, but he didn't take the initiative to do that either.
Yes, sir. I drove down by the place we're talking about, and I noticed it's got a real estate sign out front. You have a contract with Keller Williams to sell it.
You can talk to him,
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on with the property. I didn't know if it was condemned or whatever, but I just wanted out of it. But I don't know what's wrong with the property, because I've been renting it since 2016 as multiple units. I've never been bothered.
Were you trying to sell it as commercial?
Yeah, I didn't want to fool with it, sometimes it's a headache.
Have you got it listed commercial with a real estate or residential with a real estate?
It would have to be listed commercial because
Commercial, I
it's C2 right now. It's zone C2.
Or it's listed
If you looked it up, it would be zone C2.
But does he have it listed with the real estate company as C2?
Well, I think you can answer if you know, but
I don't know. I just
it's
looked
my
at the
understanding the
real
real
estate
estate company
company.
would have to put the zoning on there. They'd have to verify it and look it up.
Yeah, and from what I'm understanding, it's zoned for multiple residents. Look into the East Ridge coding, because I had someone figure it out, because I was like, I've been renting this like this since day one. I bought the property this way. And
I would tell you, I'm a real estate attorney.
Right. No,
Mark, hang on.
okay.
Mark can attest to that, maybe.
Well-
I would tell you it could not be sold as residential right now. It'd be impossible.
And he was saying something about if there was a fire, 1 meter does all these. It's got 4 different individual meters with 4 different
Yeah.
electric, okay.
That's
No,
okay.
I'm sorry.
Right.
So,
It would be impossible to sell it as a residentially zoned property right now because it's not zoned residential.
He's willing to rebuild it back as residential?
I think the plan is to fix everything they want fixed, which would mean it would continue in the same use. But I have not verified, I have verified that it is C2. There's no question about that. I have not verified that the permitted use would or would not be grandfathered in because it's been used like this for even before he got it. So I'm not trying to get into a legal battle over that issue. I'm trying to keep it from continuing to be condemned because if it's continued to be condemned, then we only have two choices at this point, to go to Chancery Court or, let the city come tear it down. I mean, those are the only two options.
well,
I don't be disrespectful. I'd like to get it to whatever they want me to do it, however they want me to fix it, but I hadn't had an opportunity to do anything. I mean, if they would say, hey, I want this, this, and this, now, I'd be glad to do it.
well, I believe you've been given that information, but more, the question I have here is, I hear you've got a check and you're ready to do something, but then I hear that you've got it on the market to sell. So that's that is a mixed message to me. You're either selling it and dumping it, what you just said, or you really do want to repair it. And I'm hearing two different stories.
Well, whatever's the option is, I mean, I don't want it to drag on for me either. I mean, I'd like to get it fixed because it was my rental income. But I went ahead and told the realtor, go ahead and list it just to see what I can get out of the property. I don't care if they bulldoze it, I just want some money just to see. I mean, I didn't want to mess with it. But as far as you are correct, I didn't want to handle it and I didn't know how to handle it. That's why I said.
He didn't really know.
I wanted to get, I didn't want to be bothered with you guys and I didn't want to have like all the stress. I said, just put it up for sale. If that's what I want, if they want me to sell it, I'll sell it. But honestly, I want to fix it up and use it what it was intended for the whole time I've been getting rent out of it. I displaced 4 different families, which I was getting good rent money out of that property. And I'm still confused on how it was condemned, because 2 weeks before, I found somebody sleeping underneath the access door that opens like a crawl space that has a house. Someone sleeping there that had a little mattress bum. I said, hey, you can't sleep underneath there. So I told my tenant up front, I said, hey, he can't sleep in there. If something happens, that's on me. It's my property. I said, you need to call the police if that happens. Well, guess what? She called the police, and that's where my property got condemned, by her making that phone call to the police, because they thought I was renting a person underneath the house. I don't do that. I had 4 different individuals in there, smoke detectors, wired smoke detectors, everything. 4 different, well, I don't want to talk about all that, but everything was up to date, I thought, and I had been renting it. I've had no issues with it.
One more.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Howell, are there a formula where y'all go in and see if the house is rebuildable, or see if it's feasible to rebuild it, or is it cost plus is not feasible before you all put it up for demolition?
Normally in situations like that, Mr. Cagle, if it hits a 50% mark on that, so if if the construction cost exceeded 50% of the fair market value of the house, then it would be considered condemned. We also have with fire damage, if 30% fire damage in the same scenario, construction cost of the fire damage exceeds 30% of the fair market value of the house, then the entire place has to be brought up to code.
This was not anywhere close to 30%. Would you agree with me? Or
I would have no idea.
Fire damage was about the size of my credit card.
I mean,
I just have one question, if I could, real quick. So this was delivered on April 4th, the notice to him. But you're saying you didn't know what you have to fix, but it tells in here what's wrong.
then the fire.
So
The fire happened.
but you said the fire was small. Is that not what you just said? Or I missed that?
The fire was small, but they pulled all the meters.
Right, but all the other things, smoke alarms, windows are covered, debris, open wires, some units are in garages, shower heads and spouts missing.
The $40,000
I'm trying to-
check from the insurance company, was that for the fire damage?
For how do I say this? It's for State Farm releasing our claim against them, so it's all related to the building. I don't know how to say this, it's not all directly related to existing, like fire, like burnt boards or whatever. There's obviously some smoke damage. There's obviously, some other claims that we had under that insurance policy. So I'm not trying to mislead you. I'm just trying to say there wasn't $40,000 worth of just fire damage. Does that, usually an insurance claim like that on what we're going to call a rental property that has multiple units like that is usually more than just direct damage. They didn't want to pay anything. They wanted to say it was intentionally set and he created the problem and he had to just live with it. They didn't want to pay a dime.
Any other questions, council?
I have one. When you put your property up for sale, are you putting it up for sale as is, or are they advising you to go in and fix it up? So, what's your real estate?
As is.
As is, the way it sits with,
That was not my intentions from day one.
right now, it would be, so if there was a contract, there is no contract on it, first of all. If there was a contract on it, it would be as is, even with City of East Ridge condemnation order down. Whoever bought it would have to suffer through that whole process of how to figure that out. So they'd have to get a lawyer, figure out what they have to do, if they can stop it, or if they just want to go ahead and demolish it, Somebody may want to demolish it. It's right there. I think it's on that corner, isn't it? If I'm correct.
Mr. Mayor, Council, it's my opinion that the fact that he's selling the property really doesn't have any relevancy to me. We've known he had many opportunities to bring the property up to code prior to the condemnation. And it's going to take a lot of convincing to me to go against the ruling of the Housing Commission. So I'm ready to vote on it.
That's my opinion. We should reaffirm the Housing Commission's recommendations.
All right, do I have someone?
I'll make a
Amend the
motion,
motion.
make a motion to deny the appeal.
Second.
So
So good.
what we'll do is we'll structure that. The resolution is written in a very neutral manner because we don't know how it's going to be decided. What we'll do for resolution 3309 is, if you'll see the way we've got it, you're adopting, there's an attached Exhibit A to the resolution, which is the city council order. So basically what we're going to do here is there'd be a resolution of the city council for the city of East Ridge regarding an appeal from the East Ridge Housing Commission related to 1500 Keeble Street, East Ridge, Tennessee, wherein the council denies the appeal of the respondent property owner, Mr. Chetan Patel.
All right. Reconfirmation of the motion.
Let me say that one more time. You want me to say that, Ms. Middleton? So you get it.
Ms. Middleton, need that again?
All right. What's been the motion was the motion to deny, which that's the action that the council has taken with respect to the appeal. This appeal will be memorialized by the resolution, and I'll coin that resolution. It's a resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, regarding an appeal from the East Ridge Housing Commission related to 1500 Keeble Street, East Ridge, Tennessee, denying the appeal by owner Chetan Patel, Chetan.
I'd be making a motion to approve that.
Yes. To reconfirm
That's
your
the
motion.
That's the motion, right?
You're confirming the motion.
Yes, that's my
And
motion.
you're in the second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to deny by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any final discussion? Yes, sir.
What we're voting on is down here where it says whereas need to be renovated or demolished. So denying his appeal to renovate it or demolish it.
Councilman, I'm sorry, which part of the resolution are you looking at?
That's the second paragraph.
All right. Well, that's what the Housing Commission, basically what,
As recommended,
that's what they ordered. They ordered it.
all right, to be
So-
renovated or demolished.
No, they ordered a demolish. There's no option in the housing.
The
order.
second whereas, Councilman talks about what the role of the Housing Commission is. That doesn't say what they ordered. If you, they ordered it on August 8th. Right. They entered the order for it to be demolished. Okay. That, if you look at the whereas, it says on August 8th, the Housing Commission entered an order with regard to the property located at 1500 Keeble Street. That order was to demolish the property. What Mr. Councilman Chauncey has done is basically moved to deny the appeal. The property owner timely appealed. Councilman Chauncey is moving to deny that appeal, which would be the order that this body enters. Stated differently, it's reaffirming the decision of the Housing Commission to demolish the property. Keep it condemned and demolish it.
Any other questions? See none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes,
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution 3309 denied. We'll move to item K. Thank you.
That's fine. Thank you. Thank you.
Resolution number 3310.
A resolution of the City Council for the City of Eastridge, Tennessee, to jointly apply with Chattanooga Hamlet County Transportation Planning Organization as lead applicant to the United States Department of Transportation for funding through the Safe Streets for a SS4A grant to develop a Metropolitan Planning Area Comprehensive Safety Action Plan.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, the TPO is working on this Safe Streets and Roads for All Comprehensive Safety Action Plan application. But with this application, it's the TPO along with many of the municipalities, Chattanooga, Red Bank, East Ridge, Signal Mountain, et cetera. And what we're doing is we are trying to get an application for this to put to work on a safety plan to help identify safety issues on our streets and other streets in the other municipalities, and work with this application to hopefully, after that, be able to get future funding to help address these problems. The resolution and the initial safety plan that they're putting together requires no financial commitment from the city. Basically, we're doing a joint application with TPO towards this safety plan, and afterwards, I'll be asking the mayor to prepare an endorsement letter that also works with this for the plan that they're going to, the application they'll be sending in to the feds.
Okay. I'm sorry. Thank you, sir. You're done. All right, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3310.
Resolution number 3310.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Helton and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
yes,
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution 3310 pass. All right, that is all the items that we had on the agenda So we'll move to the discussion of the tentative agenda for September the 8th. First item we have would be employee milestone awards for August 2022. So we always like recognizing milestone awards from our service from our employees. And then under old business, I believe we need to get an update and discuss 711 State Line Road. So I know that on the 9th, the City Council approved a resolution authorizing the city to receive a bid for cleanup on said property. And on the 13th, Housing Commission asked the council to stay. Then on the 23rd, the City Council approved Chairman Winter's request to agree to stay on Resolution 3277 until we can get some more information back on said property. And then it was, so we have an open resolution that is stayed that is either actionable or we need to address because it's a pending resolution.
That's right. Procedurally, it is still a pending resolution. I believe it was back at the, back in July. I think it was July or was it June? What was it?
June.
Back on June 9th, this body approved Resolution 3277. That resolution came before this body because the Housing Commission approved the cleanup of the 711 State Line Road. That estimate came in excess of $10,000, so it became something that this body had to approve, and in fact, it did approve. At that time, that estimate was $18,500, and it approved on June 9th. Subsequent to June 9th, Chairman Winters did request this council and approach this council respectively asking for a stay of Resolution 3277 because at the time the Housing Commission said we'd like to give a little bit more time. It might, alleviate the city incurring cost. But let's give the property owner a chance to take and cure the conditions of the property. And on June 23rd, this body agreed to stay that resolution. It did not remove or otherwise vacate the resolution. It just stayed it. Since that time, I think Mr. Howell and Codes, this body asked that, the body would want an update in August. At that time, it's in the minutes that it asked for an update in August. And I think Mr. Howell's here and can give an update of this property. And Mr. Howell, if you want to come up. So no action to take today. No action will be taken, Mr. Watkins, today. No official action. This was an update. Back in June, if you look back at the minutes back in June, this body said they're going to let you make the repairs, but they wanted a status update in August. And so that's what Mr. Howell is here.
Why did I need to be here?
I don't think anyone directed you or ordered you
I
to
got
be
a letter
here.
on my door.
Right. I think that letter was providing you an update. It did not
Okay.
direct you or command you to be
I have
here.
another issue I'd like to put.
At this point, sir, this is a discussion amongst the council, no citizen. I'm sorry, you'll have an opportunity if this goes back to the Housing Commission or if it comes back to the council at a later date. But at this time, there is no discussion between the property owner and the council. This is getting an update on the property.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So I'm dismissed?
Yes, sir.
What if I get?
I'm sorry, sir. If you have questions, you can reach out to the codes department.
Yes, Mayor and
Yes,
Council.
sir.
The packet you have in front of you that was updated pictures as of today, I did reach out to Freedom Roll-Off Demolition Company. They reduced the bid amount on that as well to, I think it's $14,500 from the $18,500. That bid is good till September the 3rd, I believe it is.
23rd.
23rd, I'm sorry.
It's a typo. It's
It
good
is.
till September 23rd.
3rd, sorry about that. The pictures showing there has been cleanup on the front of the property. Initially, the housing board, when this property came before them, this entailed the entire property. If you look back on Hamilton County GIS, or even further than that, all the way to 2008, this property has been in disarray for many, many years. Many complaints on it as well. So,
Thank you, sir. Any questions, council? I have a few, but I'm going to let council go first.
What is the codes department's recommendation on this?
Look, at our standpoint, we've had a property that has been in non-compliance for year after year after year. At some point, something has to change in this. So we got, you know, I have no idea what's in the back of this house. I can only look at the aerial on it and see many, many items, whether it's being treated as a salvage yard in an R1 district. I don't know what's back there. I have not been afforded that opportunity to look at it.
So you've not given permission to go back and look at it?
I've never been on the property, Mayor.
Okay.
No, sir. Codes, at our standpoint, to be to clean this property up. What the original housing board wanted them to do to begin with, for him to do to begin with. Is maintain his property and create, you know, fair values for everybody in that subdivision there.
Inhabit that property?
He does inhabit that property, and Mr. Litchford might can back this up. I don't know what his relationship is to the property. If it's actually his mother's, I don't know.
I think, does he live there?
He does live there,
Is that the question?
That was, does he
Okay,
inhabit it?
yeah.
but does he own the property? I don't know.
Right, no, I think there is an inheritance of some nature, but it was through his mother and maybe perhaps his father, but he is the inhabitant of the property. Mr. Howell, is it code enforcement's position that the health, safety, health, welfare of the community is being jeopardized and endangered as a result of the conditions of this property?
Absolutely.
Any other questions? I am going to, I don't know if this is being a form of a motion or not, but since the Housing Commission did request a stay, and they've not had another meeting since.
Well, they had one in
About
July, but
this,
they've not had one
but
to readdress this.
That's correct. So I would like to, in the next Housing Commission is the 14th, which is still within the deadline of the contract to clean up. I would like to get the opinion and direction from the Housing Commission, how they'd like to proceed on this. So I don't know if that needs to be a motion, or
No,
it's just we're going to request, the council request Housing Commission to address this on the September 14th Housing Commission meeting. I believe it's probably already on the agenda.
Well, we can't have a motion because we've already closed the regular
That's
called
true.
meeting, but I think it is set to be on the September Housing Commission. And when Mr. Howell and I were there, we'll make note that this was discussed on a tentative agenda,
Okay.
and that the expectation from the council is that it receive some follow-up update from the Housing Commission as to what it recommends this body to do, because that resolution 3277 is still out there.
Yeah,
It's
still
just been
open.
stayed.
Okay.
And so, why don't we do this? Mr. Howell and I will have, at the Housing Commission, we'll address it, and then on the 22nd, the September 22nd, we'll have an update for this body.
And Mr. Watkins will be able to attend.
Well, yeah, Mr. Watkins will be
He'll
here.
be able to
We'll
attend.
direct him and tell him, no action has been taken. This is just, we need to follow up from the Housing Commission, and the Housing Commission can provide, its recommendation as to what it thinks should occur with respect to the property.
Well, this bid will be no good then.
No, it will.
It's through the 23rd.
It's a mistype.
okay.
We, in fact, have one that says September 23rd. And so from
Here it
a
is.
timing standpoint, here it is, Mr. Kagoff got it. From a timing
That is
standpoint,
correct. This would,
we'll have that Thursday, September 22nd hearing, and Mr. Watkins will be given notice. He'll receive notice of the Housing Commission meeting on September 14th as well. So he'll get both those notices, and he'll have an opportunity at both to show cause as to, why cleanup should not, or he should not be forced to clean it up, or he won't undertake it. He'll have an opportunity to respond.
now is this cleaning up the whole area, the whole front yard, backyard, side yards, all these outbuildings?
Yes, Mr. Cagle. That's what the original bid came in at, yeah.
I believe the reduction in the cost is because he has done some cleanup in the front.
Yes, so the price reduction is reflective of the front property, yes.
Where a bunch of cars go.
Right. Anything else?
Reviewed on the 22nd.
We'll review it on 22nd, and that's my recommendation instead of the 8th, because the Housing Commission won't meet till the 14th of September.
All right, so then we'll speak September the 22nd. Any other discussion? I see none. All right. Then we'll move to the new business for the tentative agenda. It's a numbered resolution, bond issue for various road projects. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. You'll see in the packet where we have the actual amortization schedule from the bond fund now. This will be a 20-year bond issue, but it's the kind that we have 3 years to spend it, and we'll just draw down as we need it. And we'll only be paying it on what we've drawn down.
Any discussion, questions, council?
This is a 5-year balloon note.
Are these,
I call it a balloon.
I'm about to say
5-year
balloon notes
re-
are illegal, but
Yeah, I know,
after
but a
5 years, they'll
5-year
re-examine,
refinance, yeah.
re-examine the interest rate, yes.
But we got a good, right now, we got a good interest rate.
396, right, something like that?
395, I
95.
believe. Especially with the interest rates had gone up, so we got a good rate.
and that's already locked in?
Yes,
Awesome.
For the first 5 years.
for the first, yes.
Right.
Yes, sir. Any other questions? See none. Any other business?
Yes, I have one more thing to add to the tentative agenda. The East Ridge Needy Child Fund will be looking for reduced fee slash, rent-free for the fundraiser for their collector toy show, car show, and cruising on October 15th. We'll have that on the next agenda for you all to approve that.
Thanks, sir. Any questions, council? All right. Last call. Any other business? I see none. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Appreciate you. This meeting is adjourned.